back to Myrna and Jenn read the Apocrypha. We are enjoying all of this. We're in Jubilees right now. We're about to get into Isaac with his sons Esau and Jacob and all that hubbubalub. And I can't believe I said that word, but it's an oldie and a goodie. So I'm sticking with it.
Sounds good.
And as always, like and subscribe, comment. We'd love to have people agree with us. We're okay if you disagree with us. Just come on, ask a question if you'd like. If you have an idea about what you'd like us to read after the Jubilees, hey, let us know and we'll consider it. So,
yeah, we have a little bit of we have a little while till we will do it.
I know we're only halfway through.
Throw out some ideas.
There are quite a few chapters in Jubilees. I didn't know that going in how big it was, but I'm enjoying it. So, just as a small recap, as we get all into chapter 24, Abraham has died, and he has had a great blessing that he's bestowed upon Isaac, his son, and foretelling that Isaac would have all of these great things moving forward. And now Isaac is kind of the line. He's the one that is going to be holding up this righteousness, holding up the festivals and the beholding apparently circumcisions and all of the other ordinances and rites of sacrifices that his father taught him.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into what has happened now that Abraham has passed away. And it was a beautiful way of talking about it, about Abraham moving into the next part of his life, going back with his fathers.
Mm-hmm.
So now we get to see what is happening with Isaac. So, verse 1. And it came to pass, after the death of Abraham, that the Lord blessed Isaac his son, and he arose from Hebron and went and dwelt at the well of the vision in the first year of the 3rd week of the Jubilee 7 years. And in the first year of the 4th week, a famine began in the land, besides the first famine which had been in the days of Abraham. And Jacob sawed lentil pottage, and Esau came from the field hungry. And he said to Jacob his brother, give me of this red pottage. And Jacob said to him, sell to me thy birthright, and I will give thee bread, and also some of this lentil pottage. Okay, I am going to look up what lentil pottage looks like. I feel like it's going to be gruel, but I just want to know for myself.
Or maybe red beans. Maybe the red bean.
What is the pottage of lentils? Refers to the lentil stew. So it's a lentil stew. It looks yummy. So there's a lentil stew here, and Esau's really hungry. And of course, just like texting in the modern world, we cannot ascertain the tone here. So sell to me thy birthright, and I will give thee bread. Sounds like what a brother would say to another brother as a joke, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you want some food? Give me your birthright. Ha ha ha. So because Esau has the birthright here. But there has been famine, so he's hungry. Remember Esau is the guy who's out and about rambunctiously hunting and all of those things.
Right. I just wanted to, in parentheses next to there, it said primogeniture. And I was like, well, I want to know what that means. And it means the state of being the firstborn child.
Oh, okay.
So in other words, everything you get because you're firstborn, sell it to me.
And back then, there was a lot that you got because you were the firstborn son.
Absolutely.
It all went to you.
Yeah. And you distributed.
And you distributed. So
if you wanted to.
If you wanted to. Which is why
Yeah.
Isaac got it in part, is because he was actually the firstborn of Rebecca, not Hagar.
Yeah.
So it's very
Right.
important, this lineage. So what do you think, Myrna?
Yeah.
Does he sell it for a pot of stew or bowl of stew?
Well, we know he does. I'm curious to see if in here we find out any discussion of what he did discussed with himself to say, yeah, I'm going to
To
do
say
it, right?
yes, right?
Because I think you would have had to have a discussion in your head
You would
as to
have.
whether you're going to do this or not, right? But maybe
Yes.
not. I don't know. I'm
And
assuming I'm hoping we're going to get something to explain why he
I
is
I
willing to do such
agree.
a thing.
And I did misspeak here. It wasn't just a lentil pottage he was getting, it was also some bread. Like, he upped the ante with,
For that,
a piece of bread. Give thee bread. It could have been a whole loaf. I don't know, it could have been worth it.
yeah. Um, so I think I just am hoping we find something that kind of justifies it because we know they're not starving. I wouldn't think. I don't know unless we don't know some background. I mean, he just comes in hungry from the field. I mean, I don't know. My husband's been hungry before, and he's just gone and fixed himself. So something, but maybe he didn't know how to back then. I don't know.
Well, it says, and in
It
the
seems kind
first
of petty to me.
well, it says, and in the first year of the 4th week, a famine began in the land. So I wonder if it was just a famine was starting, so they were getting nervous about food. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they're being a little bit more careful.
Careful with it. And he's been out all day, and his brother, who we know is not the run outside and do all that, he's the learning kind of guy. He's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, hey, you have a big pot of food. You have a big bowl of food there. I would like to eat. I've been out in the fields all day. What have you been doing?" "I've been
yeah,
studying."
yeah.
Mm. Like, I see this moment
So yeah, I don't know.
as brothers with each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Brothers that I don't know if they like each other.
Well, I wouldn't. I mean, Jacob being serious about this, I wouldn't say he likes his brother.
Right. Mhm.
Um, because if you did, you wouldn't do something like this.
No, you would not. Mm-mm.
It would be a joke,
Mhm.
right? Um, so yeah, I don't know. Should we see
Yeah,
what
let's see.
happens?
Mhm.
All right, 4. And Esau said in his heart, I shall die. Of what profit to me is this birthright? And he said to Jacob, I give it to thee. And Jacob said, Swear to me this day. And he swore unto him. And Jacob gave his brother Esau bread and pottage, and he ate till he was satisfied. And Esau disposed his birthright for this
Despised.
reason, despised his birthright. For this reason was Esau's name called Edom, an account of red pottage which Jacob gave him for his birthright. On account of the red pottage which Jacob gave him for his birthright. Okay.
Um, and that's where you get the word Edom actually refers to red or ruddy um, in Hebrew.
Um, he must have been pretty hungry. That's all I got to say.
Well, and maybe it's true that there was a famine in the land and there wasn't a lot of food going around. Because I love it. I shall die. Of what profit me this birthright if I'm just going to die of lack of hunger, from lack of hunger? You
Well,
have to
then
be
your brother
pretty
gets
hungry.
it anyway. So why give it up? I don't know. I don't
Okay,
know.
I'm going to say this, and I know if people are watching, they might comment. Okay. I'll just say when I've read this with Esau and Jacob, I picture Esau, the jock in the situation, and Jacob, like the nerdy kid in school. And a lot of times, the idea of the jock guy is he's not too swift.
Now that's
I'm
kind
just
of
hungry.
offensive.
I know. I'm aware of that. And I said it as a disclaimer. I know people will be unhappy with the comment, but it is a common trope that the jock guy is not the smartest tool in the shed. He uses his muscle and his brawn to get what he needs in life. He goes on to play in athletic sports, he does these other things. He's not usually, not to say never, he's not usually the valedictorian. So I just find
Well,
this interesting that he's like, I'm hungry, I'm starving, I might die. I've been working in the fields all day. If it's a famine, what fields are you working in? I don't know. He's trying to save what he can. Hard
yeah,
work.
I'm busy. But you also can look at it this way. Esau is the oldest.
Yes.
Esau has, I assume, really kind of been given whatever he wanted,
Mm-hmm.
being the oldest, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Jacob is more favored, was more favored by Abraham,
Yes.
right? But Esau, being the oldest, really could get whatever he wanted. There
Yes.
was no want in his life for anything. He could get whatever he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes in, and I think it's a little bit of this spoiled brat thing too. Well, this is what I want. Okay, if that's all I have to do, then let me get it. There's not a whole lot of thinking because he's always been able to get what he wants, and he doesn't really think about the consequences of what he's doing.
Right. Well, he did not think of the consequences of what he was doing. I
No,
mean, I will let you know it somewhat has that feeling. I don't know why my brain makes this connection. It's as silly, maybe that isn't the word. It's whatever the word if someone wants to fill in. Like when Christ was sold for 30 pieces of silver. Like, come on. He was God, right? Lord of Lords. And he sold for 30 pieces of silver. Here, he sells his birthright for a pot of stew. All right. You have to be pretty darn hungry to do that. I
yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah.
It has that feel to it of like, I can't believe you sold Christ for 30 pieces of silver. I can't believe you sold your birthright for a pot of stew.
Well, and then you've got the story of Jacob. I mean, of Joseph.
Oh yeah.
His brothers
Just sold
try
him.
to con dad
Yeah.
because they've gotten rid of Joseph, but
Mm-hmm.
they're telling daddy's dead,
Right.
right? All
Mm-hmm.
for what? What did they even get out of that?
Correct.
Dad
What
was
did they
just
get out?
sad the whole time. He got nothing from it.
Right.
So in a sense, every one of these examples, they've got nothing in the end.
Yes. Nothing. So I just find them interesting. Okay. Let's see
Okay,
what happens.
let's do it.
7. And Jacob became the elder, and Esau was brought down from his dignity. And the famine was over the land, and Isaac departed to go down into Egypt in the 2nd year of this week, and went to the king of the Philistines to Gerar unto Abimelech. And the Lord appeared unto him and said unto him, Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land that I shall tell thee of, and sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee and bless thee. So the famine was over all the land, and he went into Egypt,
Yeah.
maybe to get food or something. But
Mm-hmm.
no, do not go down into Egypt. So the Lord is with him, right? Or he would not have hurt him.
Yeah, he's not bad, right?
No. Mm-mm.
Um, he's just was skipped over a little bit
Yeah.
to his son from his dad, but he still is has a connection with God and does
Mm-hmm.
believe in and has a relationship with him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let's find out why he's not supposed to go to Egypt.
Okay.
10. For to thee and to thy seed will I give all this land, and I will establish my oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father, and I will multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all this land. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thy father obeyed my voice, and kept my charge and my commandments, and my laws, and my ordinances, and my covenant, and now obey my voice and dwell in this land. And he dwelt in Gerar 3 weeks of years.
Okay. Again, it seems repetitious to me that they keep bringing up, oh, by the way, all of this is yours. Shouldn't he know that by now? All of this is yours. But it's repeated a lot to Isaac.
Well, it was repeated to Abraham too. And
Yes.
I don't know if the Lord just knows that they don't believe him, or if he's waiting for some way of knowing that they believe him. I don't know, because you're right. He continues to say it, even though he said it, right? But he continues to repeat himself. I don't know.
I know that one of the most common words in the scriptures is remember. But it's like he hasn't done anything about the land. He knows that it's been given to him, and yet we don't see that he's building up a city or that he's fully dwelling and expanding in the area. It's like, okay, I don't know what to do with it.
Well, he's not like become doesn't seem to be, at least they're not showing in the scriptures that he's become a ruler, so to speak, of the
No.
land.
Nope, he
Right?
does not.
It's not like he's stepped out to the world to say, this is my land
Correct.
from God. But God keeps reminding them that this is their land.
Yours.
So I'm not sure what God's reasoning is for that. Maybe we'll find out. I don't know.
Okay. But he is supposed to dwell there, not go to Egypt, but dwell in this land.
Right.
Okay.
Let's go.
In 13. And Amalek charged concerning him, and concerning all that was his, saying, any man that shall touch him or aught that is his shall surely die. And Isaac waxed strong among the Philistines, and he got many possessions, oxen and sheep and camels and asses and a great household. And he sowed in the land of the Philistines and brought in 100-fold. And Isaac became exceedingly great, and the Philistines envied him. Okay.
Okay, wasn't he great before? I mean, his dad had all of this.
His dad did. So he, was
right?
it say 100-fold? So he increased that wealth big time. And therefore, the scripture that we say a lot, and they prospered in the land because they were being obedient to God.
Yeah, I think that 100-fold means he, in the land of the Philistines, he began to plant, and he sowed all that he planted. None went bad.
He brought in 100-fold. So he,
right. So
he brought in,
all that
he still had a lot.
Planted. Yes, it's a lot. But in other words, what they're saying is that
he harvested.
None died from the sun. He didn't lose any of it, so to speak. Which is hard to do.
Right. I will say, though, it's not a good sign that the Philistines envied him.
No, that makes me think there's a war coming on around here soon. And I'm not remembering for sure in the Bible what we're talking about, but it sounds like there's a war coming.
Yeah, something.
Because the Philistines aren't like nice people. They will protect themselves.
Yes, they will.
So.
Okay, so we have the mention of the Philistines now. And of course, we use that as a word to don't be such a Philistine, right?
Yeah.
Don't be, how would you describe that? statement. Being a Philistine.
Well, it kind of, when I grew up, well, I was growing up, it kind of meant something to the effect of, don't be so gullible and jealous and all of those kind of things, which right here we're seeing they envied
Yes.
Isaac.
So
So it does kind of fit that statement.
So the words that the dictionary uses is a Philistine is a person who is hostile or indifferent to culture and the arts, or who has no understanding of them. So we're going to see why that fits in, I think, here, maybe a little.
All right.
17.
Okay. 17.
16.
Now,
Sorry, 16.
16. Now all the wells which the servants of Abraham had dug during the life of Abraham, the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham and filled them with earth. And Abimelech said unto Isaac, Go from us, for thou art much mightier than we. And Isaac departed thence in the first year of the 7th week and sojourned in the valleys of Gerar. And they digged again the wells of water which the servants of Abraham his father had digged, and which the Philistines had closed after the death of Abraham his father. And he called their names as Abraham his father had called them. So he's renewing something his father did.
Yeah, so that's kind of poopy of them. Abraham dies and they fill in with earth all of the water wells. Water wells in those desert areas are the life source.
Right.
So they get away from us because you're so rich and wealthy. We don't want to see you. And so he goes, all right, he leaves, but he undigs all of that of what the Philistines did. And they redid all the wells. That's a lot. That's a lot to do.
Yeah.
But I like that it says, and he called their names as Abraham, his father, had named them. So Abraham named the wells.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I wonder what they thought they were accomplishing by closing up the wells.
Thought that it would make his people move on, maybe faster. I don't know. Because you would think everyone would want those wells.
Well, yeah, it's not like, I don't think there's anything that says that they can't walk across that area and use those wells as they're traveling. But I don't know why I can't think of in my mind other than what you're saying. But they kind of want Isaac and Jacob and all of their people to move on.
Right.
All of Abraham's people to move on, right? Because they did it after Abraham died. So maybe they're like, oh, well, that big old group of people will go now.
Maybe
Which,
they will.
as we know, was a large number of people.
Oh, a big, large number of people. That's the only thing I can think of. So let's see what they do.
Let's do it.
And 19. And the servants of Isaac dug a well in the valley and found living water. And the shepherds of Gerar strove with the shepherds of Isaac, saying, The water is ours. And Isaac called the name of the well Perversity, because they had been perverse with us. And they dug a second well, and they strove for that also. And he called its name Enmity. And he arose from thence, and they digged another well, and for that they strove not. And he called the name of it Room. And Isaac said, Now the Lord hath made room for us, and we have increased in the land. And he went up from thence to the well of the oath in the first year of the first week, in the 44th Jubilee. Okay, so they have quite the naming convention.
Well, there's just all I can think of as I'm listening to this and following it is Isaac's a little stinker pot. With the naming of these. I mean, I get it. I'm just saying there's a little stinkeriness there in naming these wells, right? because they're
Um,
following him.
so I'm looking up here about naming practices for in Hebrew. Um, because he's definitely naming them for like a characteristic. And I know that in a lot of different languages, um, they are very either family centric names, like the name Nicholas shows up in like 12 different versions of it throughout a family, or you name someone because of a characteristic you want them to have. So you
Well,
would
he's
name your
naming these
child
after
Hope.
the people. Yeah, but he's naming these after the people that filled up the other wells and are following them and are saying,
Right.
"No, this is
So,
ours now. No, this is ours now." And his names like perversity and
and enmity.
enmity are a little stinker potty.
I'm going to
I
say,
like him. I like him because I get
hey,
stinker
I'm
potty.
going to go way into the weeds right now. Way into the weeds. Okay. Follow me, Myrna. It's okay. Come with me.
It's okay.
So,
I'm
there's
usually leading.
there are some studies out there that show words have have a structure to them, meaning
Hmm.
they've done these tests where they've put a word underneath a bottle of water, and it's a word like love, peace, joy. And then they check the structure of the water, and it has these beautiful crystalline structures that are
Yeah,
just like gorgeous. And then they
right.
do words like hate and envy and strife, and the structures of the then they look at the structure of the water, and they're very dysregular and kind of
Yeah,
ugly looking. I
right.
feel like his moment of naming it perversity is like, forget you guys. I'm naming it perversity, and that water is going to taste crap. Enmity, it's going to taste crap. And like, I feel like he's going, curse on you people.
Very
Curse.
well could be. But like I said, it's a little stinkery, and I like
Mhm.
it because I do a lot of stinkery things. Not that that's, and I'm not saying that's right, but I'm like, okay, you're not laying over and playing dead, basically. Um,
I
you
know,
are kind of digging at them a little bit.
right?
But then I like the last one, room,
Mhm.
because now God has made room for them, and I love that.
Mhm. And that's the well that they chose to drink from. I'm just saying,
Well,
if I knew,
they
if
didn't
I,
follow them, so they stayed there, and that's the well
right,
they
I-
used.
I'm just gonna say that if I knew that a well was called enmity, I probably wouldn't drink out of it.
Yeah.
Just saying, it's got bad juju.
Yes.
So there we go.
Absolutely.
And here we have the well of the oath again, a prominent feature that they
Hmm.
talk about a lot.
Which they said they closed up all the wells. Well, they reopened them up.
Yeah.
But so I'm wondering why we're going to the well of the oath. Is it really useful, or is that where he's supposed to go to do um, a sacrifice or have a ceremony or something? So that's my question
Well,
right now.
the well of the oath is a well in the land of Canaan where Abraham and Abimelech made a covenant, with
Right.
it becoming a
Right.
symbol of their agreement and peace. So they,
Right.
and this is the people we were just talking about, Amalek.
Hmm.
So this is like, I guess this is like a neutral well, a neutral place for them because of the covenant they made. At least that's how I kind of think of it in my head. So, but it does keep coming up over and over that this is the well of the oath where they came together and made their
Oh
oath.
yeah, and they do sacrifices and they do
Yeah,
rituals,
near. Mhm.
celebrations and stuff there. So
Yep.
that's why I'm wondering: is that why we're going there?
Right. Okay, I get you.
Um,
22.
all right. Okay. And the Lord appeared to him that night on the new moon of the first month and said unto him, I am the God of Abraham thy father. Fear not, for I am with thee, and shall bless thee, and shall surely multiply thy seed as the sand of the earth, for the sake of Abraham my servant. And he built an altar there, which Abraham his father had first built. And he called upon the name of the Lord, and he offered sacrifices to the God of Abraham his father. And they digged a well, and they found living water. Okay, I thought we already had a well there. Maybe there wasn't any water in there anymore.
Maybe.
Um,
Sometimes you have to redig it.
but like I said, they usually come here and do a sacrifice, and he rebuilds the altar and does a sacrifice to God
Mhm.
again.
Yep, and that's what they did.
Okay.
Well, he built an altar and he offered sacrifice. Um, which is great.
Yeah, he rebuilt the altar.
He rebuilt the altar. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. And it doesn't say that he dug up the well of the oath, it's just they digged a
Uh-uh.
well and they found living
They
water.
did a separate well,
Mhm.
an additional well,
Man,
which
these
makes
guys
me wonder
are really
if
good
the
at
well of
this.
the oath, if the well of the oath doesn't produce water anymore.
Maybe. And
It
it's
makes me,
just a symbol spot.
yeah,
That could be.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sounds
And
good.
25. And the servants of Isaac digged another well and did not find water. And they went and told Isaac that they had not found water. And Isaac said, I have sworn this day to the Philistines, and this thing has been announced to us. And he called the name of the place the well of the oath. And there he had sworn to Abimelech and Huzah, his friend, and Phicol, the prefect or his host. And Isaac knew that day that under constraint he had sworn to them to make peace with them. So dug one well, it worked. They went to dig another, and there wasn't any water. And he talks about his calling it the place well of the oath because he's having this nostalgic moment of remembering his father making that oath.
So, but it's a new place, right?
Um,
Because it says they digged another well and didn't find water, and then Isaac calls the place well of the oath. So this is like a separate place. He's calling well of the oath, and then he's swearing to Abimelech and Azueth
uh,
and Phicol, all of
mhm.
these wonderful names, um, that they would that he would make peace with them. So it seems
Well,
to me it's
there.
a separate place.
So another well of the oath.
Yeah.
All right.
So I wonder if well of the oath means, well, it's an oath, right? You make an oath there. So
Yes.
why would you not call it well of the oath? Because you're making an oath like his father did at the other place.
You might as well call it the same thing. I
Yeah.
do
And
find it
maybe that is a
interesting.
tradition. Maybe it's
I
a
do
tradition.
I do find it interesting that they're looking for living water that they can drink. And that
Mm-hmm.
is where they're making these oaths about peace because, I mean, water is essential and Christ is called living water.
Yeah.
So I find that interesting here that all of this is around uh, wells.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And I like too that he's under constraint. He had sworn that he would make peace with them. So he's going to try and keep his promise.
Well, it's
But
like kind of a way of saying he has no other choice.
yeah, so, but let's read on because the next sentence is funny.
Okay. And Isaac on that day cursed the Philistines and said, Cursed be the Philistines unto the day of wrath and indignation from the midst of all nations. May God make them a derision and a curse and an object of wrath and indignation in the hands of the sinners, the Gentiles, and in the hands of Kittim. And whoever escapes the sword of the enemy and the Kittim, may the righteous nation root out in judgment from under heaven. For they shall be the enemies and foes of my children throughout their generations upon the earth. And no remnant shall be left to them, nor one that shall be saved on the day of the wrath of judgment. For destruction and rooting out and expulsion from the earth is the whole seed of Philistines. And there shall no longer be left these Caphaturim, a name or a seed on the earth.
All right, I don't feel like that little bit there is all about making peace.
No, but you can when they're around, you can make it look like you're going to, but when they're gone, you can say whatever you want.
That's true. So the Caphatorum are a group of people.
Okay.
They're sometimes identified with the Philistines who inhabited the Canaan north of Egypt. So it's kind of those people, by the way.
Okay. It's interesting.
So,
He doesn't like the Philistines, in other words.
no, he does not like them. And it's under constraint. That's why it's under constraint that he swore to make peace. And in his heart, he is like, cursed you, Philistines. And that was quite the curse. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, constraint pretty much says I'm doing it because I have to.
Have to. Mm-hmm.
When I'm back in my tent, I'll say whatever I want.
Right. It is what it is.
Right.
All right.
He's got a little stinkeriness in him.
He does have stinkeriness in him. I find it interesting.
I do too.
Okay.
Maybe that might be why his dad kind of liked Jacob a little bit more.
Maybe.
Maybe Jacob's not so much like this. We'll find out, I'm sure, but.
Right. Because Isaac did favor Esau. So there was something about Esau in that very manly bravado and all of that he favored. So maybe he saw it in himself, and here we're seeing it.
Yeah, maybe that's some of what he is, and so he's drawn to that type of person. I mean, he's not bad. I wouldn't say he's bad.
No, not at all. He's talking to the Lord. I mean, how bad can you be?
Yeah.
All right. So that was quite the curse. Okay.
Yep, just a little bit.
31, we're continuing.
Yep.
For though he ascend unto heaven, thence shall he be brought down. And though he make himself strong on earth, thence shall he be dragged forth. And though he hide himself amongst the nations, even from thence shall he be rooted out. And though he descend into Sheol, there also shall his condemnation be great. And there also he shall have no peace. And if he go into captivity by the hands of those that seek his life, shall they slay him on the way. And neither name nor seed shall be left to him on all the earth, for into eternal malediction shall he depart. And thus it is written and engraved concerning him on the heavenly tablets, to do unto him on the day of judgment, so that he may be rooted out of the earth. All right.
So is this Isaac still talking about the Philistines?
Yes, it is still talking about Isaac with the Philistines. And though he descend into Sheol, there also shall his condemnation be great, even in hell, and he'll never have peace. All right. So
here's my. Whew. He's basically having a rant and not making any sense because he already told him that they will be rooted out in judgment from under heaven. In other words, they're not going to go to heaven. And then he says, for though he ascends into heaven, thou shalt he thence shall he be brought down.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think it just seems to me like he's in this rant, right? And so one time they're not going to heaven, and next time they are, but then if they do, then they're still not going to. It's just like he's in this rant of
Yes,
of
it seems that
upsetness
he is very
for the
upset
people.
right now.
Yeah, it's like he's
Mm.
what we would say he's spitting and screaming, right? So yeah, he's not happy.
Yeah, he's not happy. So much for the Philistines. Like he kind of went all angry on them and cursed them.
Yeah, he had a moment.
Yeah, he had a moment.
We all
And
have
that's
them.
okay. We all have moments. We do.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
Okay.
Well,
That was quite a note to end on in this chapter.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Just a little
Last
bit.
time we end with like all of this with Abraham dying and all of these words and
That were
Jacob,
beautiful and it was all good.
Jacob's, laying on his grandfather's chest and he doesn't realize he's dead and he is and he's ascended to his fathers. And then in this one, it's, I can't stand those Philistines. Get off my lawn.
Well, granted, they weren't very nice to him, right? He
Correct.
built,
He does
they
the
cover
work.
up all the wells. He goes and uncovers them, and evidently there's no water in them anymore. So then he goes and builds another one, and they follow him and say, "No, this is ours." Then he goes and builds another one. They follow him, and they say, "This is ours." And then he goes and builds another one. So I can see where he's a little upset.
Yeah, I get it.
I get it. All right.
Well, okay. That is quite the note to end on for this go around. Isaac, a little bit of a stinker pot. We're learning new things about him. And this contention, though, is just sitting there between the Philistines and his people and in the land of Canaan. We do get it repeated that Isaac is to inherit all this, he's to have nations come from him. And yet he has not stood up in any way and said, this is my land or anything. He's just still just dwelling there, trying to get along, but internally he is displeased with the Philistines because his people are doing all this work and they are not doing anything. So
right.
I think it's interesting that we record the curse. And it's recorded as it says at the very end. Thus it is written and engraved concerning him on the heavenly tablets. So even this is recorded. So, all right, Isaac, maybe not your most proud moment, but it's recorded anyways. I feel that's life.
Yeah.
Okay. Next week. It's beautiful. We will be halfway through the Jubilee.
Yes.
So, Jubilees will be halfway through. So, this is exciting. And it's like throwing a little mini party because we're halfway through. So we are grateful for you coming on this journey with us as we've done this. Please comment, like, subscribe, check us out, send the link to someone you know, even if it's for these ladies have no idea what they're talking about. We're fine with that. We would like education. If you want to bring it, we're happy. We're just trying to sort out a document that neither of us have really ever read before and take in what we already know from reading the Bible and putting those two together in the way that Myrna and I can. So we hope you enjoy. We'd love to see you next week. And as we always like to say, what? Apocrypha rules. All right. We'll see you next week, guys. Bye.